Oh, seriously? Hey guys, 6 Plus Stevo here with another wishlist video for you. Now this is a bit of an update to my last wishlist video, and in that video that was concerning the 8th edition Ork Codex. If you haven't seen that video yet, please check it out. There'll be a link at the end of this video and a link popping on screen right about now. Now in that video I talked about all the various things that I'd like to see in the 8th edition Ork Codex when it finally lands and we get our grubby little mitts on it. And one of those things was clan traits. But in this video I want to go into a little bit more detail on them and think about what clan traits we could possibly get, and just share a few ideas I've had and see what you guys think, and maybe share your own ideas as well for traits you think would fit the different clans well. Now first off the bat, I say clan traits, we are definitely going to get them. Definitely every codex that's come out so far has had chapter traits and the equivalent of in that codex for the various factions, so I think we can be pretty safe to say that we are going to get them. But what are they going to be? Well, let's start off with the Goths. Now the Goths are the clan that are led by Gazkol, and they're the most brutish, hardcore, fighty clan going, really. They are probably the most orky orcs going. They love a good fight. So how do you make orcs more fighty? How do you make them pack more of a puncher in combat? The orcs themselves are already a brutal close combat force. So it's a bit of a hard one to do, really. But I thought about, how about giving them some sort of buff when units of boys and knobs charge into combat? Effectively bring back the furious charge rule for Goths. Maybe they could get something like +1 attack on the charge. Orcs already get a huge amount of attacks as it is. You can already, if you combine different aura abilities and psychic powers and numbers, etc., you can get an average orc boy up to 6 attacks already. So probably extra attacks is going to be a bit surplus to requirements. But how about +1 strength maybe on the charge? That would make them pretty damn potent. Or possibly maybe give them something like when they charge, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds if you're above a certain number, or something like that. It's quite a tricky one, that, because orcs are already brutal enough as it is in close combat. But we do have other factions out there like Khorne Berserkers and things. I know they get stratagems and traits and things that, you know, effectively let them attack twice in close combat, which is just savage. So if any faction is worthy of getting anything like that, it's got to be the orcs, and certainly the Goths. So yeah, that was my thoughts on that. The next clan, what have we got next? Snakebites. Snakebites are the savage feral orcs that sort of shun modern technology, and it's told in their lore that they sort of breed the best grots and the best squigs, and they are experts at breeding the squigoths and the giant squigoths and things like that. So maybe I was thinking with the grots, how do you make grots better? Well, you could go the simple route of giving them something like +1 attack or something like that to make them a bit better. It's not exactly going to make them overpowered or make them anything to worry about, but it will boost their abilities a little bit and maybe make them a bit more of a viable option rather than the orc boys. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Snakebite players would be too excited about a trait that gives them slightly buffed grots. You could alternatively get all grot units in the army to obtain the mob rule that orcs get, but the orcs don't. The grots don't get that rule. So grots would effectively use the leadership of nearby orc units, which would make them pretty damn good actually in terms of leadership. it's a difficult one with Snakebites because obviously the whole lore about them is that they breed the best squigs and squig-offs and stuff, but GW don't currently produce a squig-off model. Forge World do, but I think that would be a separate thing, you know, in the Forge World book. I don't think we will see rules and traits and things that benefit them unless, please God, GW do actually bring out a plastic squig-off model. That would be fantastic, but let's not hold our breath on that one. Another idea I had for him is maybe the boys getting something like the equivalent of poisoned attacks, so they would always wound stuff on a 4+, and, you know, no matter the toughness, you know, if it was a much higher toughness, bar vehicles obviously, because again in the lore the Snakebites get their name from sort of a ritual they do with catching venomous snakes and breeding them and stuff, and then they get the venomous snakes to bite them to sort of prove their superiority and their toughness, you know, and if they survive the snake bite and manage to withstand the venom, then it proves to the rest of the boys just how hard they are. So maybe they've sort of coated their blades and choppers and stuff in this snake venom or something. Maybe it's an idea anyway. Also, I think you could maybe buff the weird boys in a Snakebite clan, because I think they basically have more access to that sort of thing. And I think generally you'd get sort of weird boys and stuff cropping up in those sort of feral tribes and be seen as leader figures quite easily. So maybe they would sort of, I don't know how you would buff them exactly. There's various ways you could do it. Maybe they could be a bit more stable and a bit less prone to suffering perils of the warp and that sort of thing. But yeah, there's a few ideas there anyway. Now, the next clan, Death Skulls. Death Skulls are the looters. They're the guys that love to get out there and loot vehicles and steal anything they can get their grubby mitts on. So I think it has to be something revolving around that for their trait. Perhaps maybe if they destroy a vehicle and it doesn't explode, and then they move within a certain distance of it, they can roll a dice to see if they can loot that vehicle and then take it over and use it for the rest of the game. Obviously you couldn't bring it back to full strength, but maybe if they could bring it back to half wounds or something, that would be quite cool. Or maybe they could do that if they destroy it in close combat or something. I don't know how that would work in game terms, whether that would sort of conflict with other rules and stuff in the game, because I know obviously when a vehicle's destroyed it blows up or it doesn't blow up, but either way you take the vehicle off the table. So I don't know if sort of leaving the vehicle there ready to be looted by looters would be game breaking in any way. It might be something a little, you know, it might just not work. But it's a difficult one, that one, because that's their whole thing. I don't really know what else you'd do with Death Skulls. I suppose you've got like the looters with their death guns that you could buff a bit, but it's a bit boring really, isn't it? I think something with them being able to steal vehicles or take them over in some way would be quite characterful and interesting. It would certainly make the army quite an interesting one to play as and against. The next clan we've got Blood Axes. Blood Axes are probably the most, how do I put it, human of orcs. They're the orcs that actually use tactics. They're the most disciplined orcs. They believe in actually using strategies of like flanking and sneaking up on the enemy. They've got access to the most commandos. They'll even do like a tactical retreat and stuff like that. So very un-orky as far as other orc clans are concerned. But obviously their trait's going to have to reflect that they're a little bit more tactically intelligent on the battlefield, let's say. So you could do something like, you know, the units get to shoot when they fall back and stuff to represent doing like a tactical retreat or something. I'm not sure how useful that would be though, because orcs are generally better in the fight than they are at shooting, so probably limited uses at best from that one. But maybe they could get the trait where when you use command points you get to roll a dice, like a lot of other armies have access to things like this, and on a 5+ you don't spend that command point and you get one back. That would sort of represent quite well their ability to to deploy more tactics and stratagems and things than other Ork clans. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else you could do with them. Probably something involving commandos. Their commandos will probably be better in some way. But yeah, there's a couple of ideas there anyway for Blood Axes. The next clan, Evil Sons. Now, Evil Sons are otherwise known as speed freaks. They just love to go fast. Bikes, buggies, deathcopters, trucks, whatever they can get their mitts on, and just hurtle around the battlefield. Driving fast is it's like a drug to them, like a religion almost. So Evil Sons is an easy one. It's got to be faster vehicles. In the old codex, you used to have the red ones go faster rule, the red paint job, which would give your vehicles basically an extra inch of movement. I think that's a bit crap, really. It's all right, but it's nothing to write home about. 1 inch extra of movement is not really gonna make much difference in a lot of situations. What you could do instead is, rather than rolling a dice for when they advance, they just automatically advance the full 6 inches. That would make them quite good in getting around the place, getting around the battlefield a lot quicker. I don't think it would be overpowered, because you're still losing, you're still getting the negative modifier to shooting if you do that. But it would certainly make them a highly mobile force. Alternatively, the other way of doing it is having a normal advance, but when you do it, they don't suffer that penalty to the ballistic skill. So yeah, there's a few various ways you could represent the Evil Sons having faster vehicles. It doesn't necessarily just have to be the vehicles. Maybe the Orks themselves are just naturally faster because they just love speed. If they can't afford a bike or a truck, then they'll just run really fast. But yeah, there's some ideas for the Evil Sons anyway. That's one of the easier ones to do. Now, the next clan, Bad Moons. This is my clan, so I am going to be biased here. They're my favourite clan. They're just big show-offs. They love showing off big, snazzy guns, building the best killer cans and death dreads and Gorkanauts and vehicles and all the top of the range weaponry. They love showing off their gold and their bling. They're just cool, big show-offs with big guns. And obviously they're shooty. Bad Moons are shooty. They're still not very good at it, like any other Ork. They've got crap ballistic skill. They can't aim for shit. But I think what you need for them is something similar to the Daka stratagem, but as a trait for the whole army. So something that can make them not better at shooting, but can shoot a lot more shots. So maybe something like all assault weapons count as rapid fire weapons if the unit stays still. So for example, a mob of shooter boys, if they stay still, they've got an 18-inch rapid fire 2 gun. So at 9 inches, it's going to be rapid fire 4. So 4 shots from each boy, and suddenly there'd be quite nasty. That'd be quite a nasty amount of shots coming in, because you're still only going to hit with a third of them, but you need volume of dice with Orks when shooting, and that would make them quite good, because you've got to make it good, or else no one's ever going to take the option. They're going to think, well, Orks are just better in combat. I'm not going to shoot. I'm just going to, or I'm not going to stand still and shoot. Certainly, I'm going to charge in. But if you make it good enough that the Ork player actually thinks, actually, I'm going to stay still and just double shoot everything. And Bad Moons would do that. Bad Moons would do that, because they would, any chance to show off to their mates their new custom top of the range gun they've just bought, or just had made for them by their local big mech, because that's all they care about. They don't care if they actually manage to hit anything. They just love the loud noise and the flash and just looking cool with their big gun. So Bad Moons are just awesome. So yeah, they need something like that to really make them a lot more shooty than your average Ork. And although not any better at hitting the target. Just if you throw that much shit at the wall, something's got to stick. So yeah, that's the 6 main clans there anyway. A few ideas thrown out there. The last one, I haven't got a clue what to do with. Freebooters. Because Freebooters, not really a clan as such. They're kind of, some of them are exiles, and they've just basically, yeah, they don't really live by the sort of clan ways and that. They just, they're basically pirates in space. And they go out and they hire their services out, or they hire their services out to other orcs, or they just go out seeking plunder and treasure. And yeah, so it's a bit of a difficult one, because I know that they are famous for having like a lot of flash gets and stuff like that. So yeah, you could do some sort of trait with them, something that makes their flash gets a bit better or something maybe. It's a difficult one, because Freebooters, you could kind of see them being quite similar to Bad Moons in a lot of ways. Or, yeah, so I haven't really got a clue what to do with them. If anyone's got any ideas what to do with Freebooters, or what they would like to see with Freebooters, share it in the comments. I mean, share away, guys, if you agree with some of the things I've said. They're literally just ideas. I don't even know if I agree with myself, really. I'm just throwing some ideas out there just to get a discussion going. It's just quite fun to speculate on these things and, you know, chat about them. It's all meaningless, because the codex is probably all written and just waiting to be published. So everything we say is probably going to be completely pointless, but hell, it's fun, isn't it? And when it does come out, we can see what we do get. Hopefully it'll be some good stuff anyway. But anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Please check out my other videos. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon, because I've got a lot of other videos in the works. So I'll see you on the next one, guys. 6+ Stevo, signing out.